Attention, Formula One fans. The paddock is in uproar and Maranello is on edge. Just days before the Austrian Grand Prix, a wave of secrecy and suspense washes over Ferrari as rumors swirl about a radical upgrade unseen, untested by rivals, and shielded even from trusted insiders. Media leaks have hinted at clandestine late-night factory sessions, guarded transport convoys, and engineers sworn to silence. Whispers from within suggest that what's arriving in Spielberg is not just an evolution, but a revolution, a dramatic intervention aimed at saving face after a disastrous first half of the season. Every detail has been locked down with unprecedented intensity, stoking speculation of a breakthrough that could turn the grid upside down. Yet this bold gambit does not hide the gathering storm in Italy. Under the weight of disappointed Tifosi and stern leadership, the entire future of Ferrari's F1 project now hangs in the balance. As the iconic red cars arrive in Austria, anticipation is eclipsed only by uncertainty. Ferrari is gambling everything, not merely lap time, but its very credibility, on a secret weapon that could define the direction of the Scuderia for years to come. This is more than an upgrade. It's a fight for survival. Ferrari's crisis has been building from the very first race of the season, with the SF25 revealing critical weaknesses on circuits as varied as Melbourne, Imola, and Montreal. The car has struggled for both single-lap pace and race consistency, often languishing off the podium as rivals like Red Bull and McLaren surge ahead. Each weekend has exposed new problems, from tire degradation to rear-end instability, and every technical failure has drawn a harsher spotlight from Italian and international media. This unrelenting scrutiny has found its primary target in team Principal Fred Vasseur, who was recruited as a steady hand but now finds himself embroiled in controversy. The atmosphere inside Maranello is taut with anxiety, with senior engineers and board members debating strategy behind closed doors and the famed Tifosi, growing ever more restless in the grandstands and online forums. The powder keg was truly ignited after the Canadian Grand Prix. There, Ferrari's double DNF brought on by strategic missteps and mechanical woes sent shockwaves through the paddock. Years of public patience seem to have run out overnight, and for the first time, serious questions have emerged regarding Vasseur's future. His leadership methods, recruitment tactics, and rapid-fire decision-making have come under intense review by Ferrari's upper management, especially with President John Elkann watching closely from Turin. Now, every comment, every technical briefing, and every pit wall call is viewed as a referendum on his ability to lead. The Austrian GP is not just race 11 of the championship. It has become a crucible for those tasked with redeeming Ferrari's legacy. And for Vasseur, the stakes could not be higher. For Ferrari, the Austrian Grand Prix is no ordinary race. It is the most pivotal contest of their season so far. Just before the summer break, when the entire paddock pauses to recalibrate ambitions, this is the final opportunity for Ferrari to alter the course of 2024's narrative. The team sits adrift in the constructors' standings, overtaken by both Red Bull's relentless pace and McLaren's steady consistency. Despite early podium hints, the momentum has evaporated, leaving Ferrari an embattled third and facing growing pressure from Mercedes. The psychological toll within Maranello is evident. Engineers are racing against time, mechanics report sleepless nights, and the drivers cut frustrated figures in every media appearance. Externally, the famously passionate Tifosi have turned critical, their faith shaken by yet another campaign of erratic performances and squandered opportunities. Sponsors are demanding answers and stability, while F1's global audience is watching for signs of either renewal or collapse. If Ferrari's bold upgrade pays off, it could re-inspire confidence and provide a jolt of hope before the development freeze that comes with the break. If it fails, the repercussions could be immediate, with morale further sapped and questions over leadership only intensifying. As such, everything converges at the Red Bull ring, a crossroads where Ferrari must decide not just how they finish the race, but what kind of team they will be for the rest of the season. Ferrari's secret Austrian GP upgrade is nothing short of a reinvention for the SF25, representing the deepest technical recalibration since the car's launch. At the heart of the overhaul lies a comprehensive revision of the aerodynamic surfaces, most notably a new floor and a reprofiled engine cover designed to redirect airflow more efficiently around the rear axle. This is not simply about adding. Downforce engineers have reworked the airflow management in pursuit of greater stability, especially in low and medium speed corners where driver complaints of unpredictability have been most acute. The linchpin of the update, however, is a radical modification to the rear suspension architecture. Ferrari has swapped out its problematic pushrod setup in favor of a refined geometry that promises improved mechanical grip and a more consistent tire contact patch mid-corner. Previously, the old configuration left the car highly sensitive to setup changes and difficult for both drivers to find a confidence-inspiring balance, leading to snap oversteer and accelerated tire wear, particularly in race trim. This upgrade was originally scheduled for debut at Silverstone, but the urgency of the situation forced Ferrari to compress their timeline with accelerated production cycles and parallel simulation programs. Technicians spent countless nights running new computational fluid dynamics models and wind tunnel tests to guarantee immediate validation. The new parts are laser-focused on correcting the delta between qualifying and race pace, an area where Ferrari has hemorrhaged valuable points. Ultimately, the goals are clear: stabilize rear-end behavior, extend tire life, and give the drivers a platform on which they can reliably extract performance. For Ferrari, this is not just a technical fix, it is a statement of intent. The roots of this upgrade trace back to the frustration and relentless soul-searching that erupted following Ferrari's struggles in Australia and Canada. After back-to-back weekends of confusion and underperformance, it became clear that small, iterative changes would not address the fundamentally flawed foundation of the SF25. The technical department, under pressure from both management and drivers, ripped up their initial development plans and initiated a high-stakes pivot. Instead of trickling in minor aero tweaks and mechanical parts through the summer, Ferrari's engineers decided to pool resources and focus on a package that could deliver a palpable transformation in one decisive swoop. This commitment required bold risk-taking, including diverting manufacturing capacity to fast-track the most promising pieces of the new concept. The timeline was brutally compressed, with simulation and CFD teams working in parallel around the clock alongside mechanical assembly. Much was sacrificed. Some planned Silverstone updates were shelved or merged into the Austrian package, prioritizing maximum impact over technical caution. The logic was simple, but ruthless. With the season threatening to slip away, playing it safe was no longer an option. Every department was pushed to embrace innovation and cooperation, reflecting an urgent realization that Austria was not just another race, but the defining trial of their campaign. Lewis Hamilton's entry into the Ferrari fold was supposed to mark the dawn of a new era in Maranello, fueled by hope in the magnetic pull of championship pedigree. Instead, his start has been clouded by turbulence, with the SF25 proving nearly impossible for him to tame. Sources close to the team reveal that Hamilton, accustomed to the balance and responsiveness of his Mercedes machinery, has struggled to mesh his famously precise driving style with a car beset by rear instability and unpredictable handling. The growing pains have been exacerbated by strategic errors and technical gremlins, robbing him of any continuity or confidence. Whispered frustrations emerged in Montreal's aftermath, with paddock insiders suggesting Hamilton has privately voiced doubts about whether the 2025 project can realistically get back on track, especially as the Scuderia's core weaknesses persist. Publicly, though, Hamilton has stood shoulder to shoulder with Vasseur, offering visible support and urging patience, while subtly hinting his real sights are set on the sweeping 2026 regulation reset. His experience and calm under pressure have been invaluable, helping to steady a crew racked by nerves, yet his body language betrays an unease that Ferrari cannot ignore. For now, Hamilton is walking a fine line, driving hard for immediate progress, but quietly calculating whether the team's vision matches his championship ambitions. Inside Ferrari, the corridors of power are more turbulent than ever. The divided leadership is now unmistakable. On one side, a camp of engineering and sporting staff remains loyal to Fred Vasseur, seeing his measured reforms and transparent management as the only viable route through the crisis. They point to the chaos preceding his tenure, arguing that instability and knee-jerk decisions got Ferrari into this mess in the first place. Yet opposition is growing louder, traditionalists and several key stakeholders, aggravated by weak results. And public embarrassment believe Vasseur has failed to build momentum, let alone deliver a winning culture. This faction pushes for a return to stricter, top-down leadership and is already circulating potential replacements should the Austrian experiment fall flat. At asterisk, the center of this fractious debate stands President John Elkann, whose personal investment in luring Hamilton to Maranello underscores his long-term, strategic vision for Ferrari. Elkann's approach is calculated and patient, but his tolerance for lack of progress is finite. Privately, he has reinforced support for Vasseur to avoid the kind of instability that can derail an F1 giant in transition. However, he is acutely aware that another false step in public or behind closed doors could force his hand, reshaping the hierarchy in an effort to restore authority and credibility both in Maranello and across the global stage. In Austria, the stakes for Ferrari are unambiguous. Championship dreams have been shelved, and a pragmatic pursuit of second place now defines the team's 2024 ambitions. With Red Bull out of reach, the focus has shifted to fending off McLaren and Mercedes, an urgent mission to restore lost prestige and reassure both internal and external stakeholders that Ferrari can still deliver results. This strategic recalibration coincides with a crucial pivot in resource allocation. Maranello's technical workforce is already bifurcated, with a significant contingent redirected to Project 678, the all-new 2026 car design to seize advantage from looming regulation. Changes, wind tunnel slots, simulation hours, and senior engineering bandwidth are all being delicately balanced between the immediate need for damage limitation and the far-reaching goal of building the next generation of Scuderia machinery. As a result, every action in Austria carries dual meaning. The debut of the SF25's radical upgrade is as much about stemming the bleeding as it is about buying time and credibility for the leadership to lay foundations for the future. The reality is that Ferrari no longer chases miracles for this season. Instead, the team is maneuvering to minimize reputational damage, maximize learning opportunities, and prove to drivers, partners, and fans that it remains a force capable of regenerating itself for the coming regulatory era. Central to Ferrari's fresh push in Austria is the debut of their re-engineered front wing, a component that had its clandestine shakedown at Fiorano weeks earlier. The wing features reshaped main planes and flaps, sculpted not only to boost front-end downforce, but also to orchestrate more controlled airflow toward the reworked floor and rear suspension. Engineers say the new profile reduces erratic crosswind sensitivity, a constant Achilles heel on circuits like the Red Bull Ring. To fast-track the upgrade, Ferrari skipped the usual tiered introduction, instead reallocating a significant portion of wind tunnel and CFD hours to validate this short-term solution, while simultaneously laying groundwork for Project 678. This simultaneous bet on aggressive innovation and structural stability illustrates the leadership's core dilemma: solve today's problems urgently, but without eroding the base for long-term reinvention. Every component and test run is now a lesson in compromise, where immediate gains are measured against the imperative to forge a sustainable path forward. The Austrian Grand Prix now stands not just as another round of the championship, but as Ferrari's ultimate reckoning weekend that will define the mood in Maranello and reverberate through the halls of Formula One for the rest of the season. Rarely has so much been on the line: the tenuous unity of a fractured team, Fred Vasseur's reputation and authority as a leader, Lewis Hamilton's faith in his high-profile move, and most of all, the hope of restoring Scuderia pride after a year of wounds both old and new. This is do-or-die territory for Ferrari, a singular crossroads where technical courage and internal conviction must align to spark the resurgence so many demand. If the secret upgrade delivers and the team rallies around it, Ferrari could set a foundation for future triumphs and finally put ghosts of recent seasons to rest. But should the gamble misfire, it could mark the fracturing of confidence, accelerate a leadership shakeup, and prompt Hamilton to reconsider his long-term bets in red. All eyes will now scan the red cars in Spielberg, searching for the first clues. Will this bold leap be the dawn of redemption or the start of further unraveling? The answer for Ferrari and its millions of believers will echo far beyond the checkered flag. Asterisk.